Trailing Thoughts from Bumby Path. This is such a friendly neighborhood because people have been aggressively waving at me a lot today. What is that sound I keep hearing behind me? Oh, I'm dragging a child's kite. How long have I been dragging that for? And why didn't any of these nice people tell me?
I've been waiting for this for weeks. I gotta tell you, I am so ready to do this. I even have the bed ready. What? So when you get home, we can get really dirty.
Gotta go. Hey!
Here you go. With all this compost, we're gonna have the best plants in the neighborhood.
Trailing Thoughts from Airport Gap. If planes were like people, would jets be considered the jocks? Would they throw hangar parties when their parents were out of town? If one plane said to the other, "I just flew in from the coast, and boy, are my arms tired," would it be considered a joke or just normal conversation?
Sometimes people just say, "Can you hold my hand?" And you make that difference. And you're helping them get through a bad day.
Good afternoon and welcome to the June 26, 2023 meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Ortiz today.
All right, let us stand. Thank you, Lord, for your mercy, grace, and continued protection. We thank you because amidst all the issues around the world, you allow us to enjoy relative peace and communion amongst our communities in the great city of Orlando. Lord, today I have a particular ask. Please let us be a beacon of hope to others. In the way we work with our communities, providing for their needs, and how we interact in order to exercise true government. We ask for your blessings of wisdom, discernment, and your guidance in order to provide quality of life to our constituents. We ask you all this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make a determination of a quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray,
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz,
Here.
Commissioner Stewart,
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan,
Here.
Commissioner Hill,
Here.
Commissioner Burns,
Here.
Mayor Dyer.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with all members present.
Okay, first order of business is consideration of minutes.
Second.
Consideration of minutes from the agenda review. City Council meetings of June the 12th, 2023. Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Ortiz. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. Okay, we have a recognition today from a longtime city employee who is fixing to retire. And today we're celebrating 34 years of service with the Public Works Construction Manager, Adam Walasik. And I'd like to call on Corey Knight, our Public Works Director, to introduce the item and to talk a little bit about Adam.
Morning, Mayor. Morning, Commissioners. After an illustrious career spanning 34 years with the City of Orlando, Adam Walasik is bidding farewell to his colleagues as he enters the well-deserved retirement. Adam's journey from Poland to the United States in 1985 marked the beginning of a remarkable adventure that led to a fulfilling professional life within the City of Orlando. Adam began his tenure with the city in February 1988, joining the engineering division as a construction inspector within the transportation division. From the very beginning, Adam showcased his expertise and dedication, quickly earning promotions and taking on increasingly challenging roles. Within just 1 year within the city, Adam's outstanding performance led to his promotion to the position of Civil Engineer 1. His exceptional abilities and commitment to excellence allowed him to progress further, assuming the responsibilities of a transportation review engineer and later being promoted to the role of transportation planning manager. Subsequently, Adam represented the transportation division within the Office of Permitting Services, ensuring seamless coordination and compliance. In 2009, Adam transitioned from the transportation planning manager to the Capital Improvement Plan Division, where he served as a construction manager. Adam has been involved in numerous significant projects, including Metro West, Lee Vista, Baldwin Park, and Lake Nona, leaving a lasting impact on the city's infrastructure and development. Adam's retirement will be a gradual one as he finds it difficult to completely part ways with the job he loves. It feels more like a hobby, and Adam, that is sad. I'm sorry. He plans to spend more time traveling with his wife of 43 years, Viga, who retired 3 years ago. Adam is immensely proud of his daughter, Cassia, a successful cardiac anesthesiologist. That's pretty impressive. That's good. That is good. And cherishes the joys of family life. The City of Orlando and Adam's colleagues extend their deepest appreciation for his years of service, his unwavering dedication, and his significant contributions to the community. His retirement marks the closing of a remarkable chapter, but his legacy of professionalism, leadership, and commitment to excellence will continue to inspire others for years to come. Mayor, would you read the proclamation?
I will. The City of Orlando is proud of the service rendered by its employees who have contributed in no small measure to the enhancement of the City Beautiful as one of the most progressive cities in the nation. Progress in municipal government is predicated for the greatest part upon the loyalty and efficiency of the employees and on their ability to carry out their duties in the highest tradition of public service. On the occasion of your retirement from the employ of the City of Orlando after 34.22 years, they got it down to the double digit. This Orlando City Council wishes to express its esteem of the sterling qualities manifested in your devotion and loyalty to the City of Orlando. Now, therefore, I proclaim grateful appreciation of your long and honorable record of faithful service with the City of Orlando and extend best wishes for good health and happiness, dated this 30th day of June, 2023.
Stand behind me. Yep. A lot of institutional knowledge. And you need to quit moving my chair. I am sick and tired of the way you've been treating me. Go Gators. His wife come up.
His wife? Yeah.
Come on. Let's make it a party. I got it. I will be back. Yeah, keep up.
As you heard, I spent quite a few years with the City of Orlando, and I know most personally of the commissioners here, and I have started with Bill Friedrich, he was the mayor here, and then obviously Glenda Hood, and now we have a mayor who is an excellent leader and leads the country and the city to be one of the best cities in the country. And I did enjoy truly the time I spent here, and I think that it is one of the best places to work and grow up and raise children. And I was able to live the American dream. When we came here, my daughter graduated from school here, and now it's time to be happy and, raise the grandchildren here. And I thank you very much for everything what the city did, and I'm truly very happy. And I will be back.
Okay, before I start the mayor's update, I want to acknowledge a very special guest with us today, and that's Congressman Darren Soto. I think they have a week off from being in D.C. And the congressman's district includes a lot of Commissioner Gray's district, for the most part, I think, in Southeast Orlando, and he's always supporting us and always bringing us money home from D.C. and advocating for us. So he's been hard at work. So, Congressman, I would invite you up, and the floor is yours.
Mayor, Commissioners, thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to address you all today. It's an absolute honor to be able to help keep the city beautiful moving forward. And Mary, you'll be happy to know I have not only a lot of Commissioner Gray's district, but an increasing amount of Commissioner Ortiz's district, and even some of Commissioner Sheehan's district now in South Downtown. After redistricting, we picked up a larger amount of the city, and just wanted to update you all on some of the funding that we're continuing to work together on. First, a $1 million budget project that we just got for Poitras Park in Lake Nona, that's after last year's Lake Nona Government Center funding. Don't worry, Commissioner Ortiz, we got a project for you coming up that we'll talk about a little bit later for next year. But we're seeing the infrastructure law, the CHIPS Act, and the Inflation Reduction Act really make a difference here in our fast-growing city. We got over $200 million in federal funding for the Orlando International Airport. That's darn near the most of any airport in the country, and we need it with tourism continuing to grow. That includes everything from 12 new gates that'll be added to Terminal C, 2 gates of 4, and then 1 that expands out to 8 altogether, a pedestrian bridge, and resurfacing dollars that are absolutely critical. We are working on a new TRACON for Orlando International Airport. That is the building that works in conjunction with the tower, and it is very antiquated, and so I'm hopeful that'll be another thing we'll be able to talk about for next year. We're pleased to get $16 million for a CRISI grant to help with the design of Brightline from Orlando to Tampa, and with the mayor and with your help, hopefully Sunrail as well. I know that's something that we're all working on together. I know affordable housing is a key issue for so many of us here. I hear Commissioner Hill in particular talk about it a lot, along with Representative Commissioner Burns. And so I was excited to see a $12.66 million federal housing grant to help folks who lost their homes over the last year, and unprecedented rent hikes and flooding from hurricanes, all things that, because of your staff's great work in applying for these federal grants, working with our office and others, that's going to do a lot of good. In addition, $6.7 million, a great photo in the Orlando Sentinel last week, Mayor, of you and one of our veterans to help rehouse veterans throughout the region in Orange, Osceola, and Seminole County, including Orlando. And then in Nemours, we continue to get them about $4 million each year to help support their research in that area. While we're getting a new nursing college, I can't claim credit for that. That is definitely from our state folks, but that is exciting to see with another big economic driver in the district. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the work we're doing with Chris Castro, formerly your green guru. I know someone who worked with the mayor and all of you for a long time. He now has a $14 billion budget, so we want to take him to task with the Inflation Reduction Act for sustainability dollars for renewable energy. I know he's been working with Orlando staff just recently at a technical assistance seminar we put on. And then overall, even though it's not in the city, nearly $3.4 billion finally became approved for the south part of I-4 going from Osceola Parkway all the way to 27. I know all of us have sat through that traffic there, and an additional $1 billion going to Point Santa Parkway. So we're seeing big money come to our region. While we've gotten the I-4 Ultimate project done, the Beyond I-4 Ultimate project has just started to be funded. For this year, we're working on flood control. Both Commissioner Ortiz and I were knee-deep, probably you were shin-deep. I was knee-deep in water in East Orlando in the Cimarron area. And so we're requesting this year budget project for $2.5 million for flood control in that area. I promised you, Commissioner, we would do our best to help you with that, and we're going to work on that. I also appreciate Chief Smith having me recently at OPD's headquarters. We're working on a COPS grant for them. That would include 11 officers to implement the new Central Tactical Unit, the TAC unit, and then 7 officers to implement the new School Resource Officer Relief Unit. 2 things that I know are near and dear, and I know we're working on some of the gun safety dollars that Commissioner Hill and I spoke about just recently at a forum. And lastly, we need to continue to work regionally for the $4 million for anti-terrorism funding for the region, something that I know my colleague Val Demings worked on for many years, and that we're going to continue to carry the torch on. So we'll work together to keep moving the City Beautiful forward, and thank you all for your partnerships over the years. Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Congressman. I don't know if you and I have had opportunity to discuss this, but the ARPA funding that came to the city, I know you lobbied hard to make sure that it wasn't just going to counties, but it was going to municipalities as well. Thank you for that. And we got $58 million, and I'll let you know that about 56 of it we spent on affordable housing or homeless initiatives, and I don't think there's too many communities in the country that allocated 95 or 96% of their ARPA funds in that fashion. So thank you for that help, and we're using the money the way I think you would like us to.
Well, Mayor, I know both you and the commissioners have taken seriously affordable housing. Our happy little town has become real popular over the last 10, 15 years, and it's put a lot of pressure on local residents. I also took note of some of the fees that you're generating from development also going into affordable housing, a real model for the area. So yes, our office has been following it very closely. Since those ARPA dollars came in a year and a half ago, I didn't want to bring it into my yearly update, but we know that those dollars continue to fund that affordable housing, and it's something that I want to continue to work with you on with HUD. It is one of the areas that I'm most worried about because there's the least amount of money coming down from Washington on that right now, as opposed to jobs and infrastructure and environmental projects. So we need to continue to work together to be aggressive on that.
Okay, my notes say you have a big ceremonial check.
We do. Mayor, if you wouldn't mind joining us for the project in Commissioner Gray's district, and then Commissioner Ortiz, we'll get to you next year, sir, I promise.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, now on to a little sad news. I'm sad to share that one of our community's greatest champions for civil rights, Reverend Dr. Randolph Bracy Jr., passed away last week. He was, oh gosh, the number of things that he's done for this community would be hard to list on a single sheet. He was the head of the Orange County NAACP. He was founder and religious leader at New Covenant Baptist Church here in Orlando. He was a spiritual guide to many, as well as a beloved community leader, and he was instrumental in helping us create jobs and housing and educational opportunities for those here in Orlando, and we're forever grateful for his vision and his strength and his partnership to improve the lives of those in our community, and he will certainly be missed. Would you join me in a moment of silence to honor him, please? Thank you. I don't have the details of his service, but maybe Commissioner Hill or Commissioner Burns will have it and can let us know during your remarks. Okay, how about something a little brighter? Commissioner Sheehan's birthday is coming right up, and we always like to make sure that those who are celebrating another year of life get our glorious songs, the glorious voices. So Commissioner Ortiz, if you would lead us.
Is that 32? Are we turning 32?
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll
So with
take any
that,
more I get, Commissioner. It's all good.
Ready?
let's do it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Commissioner Sheehan. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Hold on a second. Now in Spanish. Feliz fin. Just kidding.
Okay, Commissioner, don't overstep there. Okay, I'm only going to mention one thing off the agenda, but it's the one item that I think a lot of people are here for, and that's mayor's matching grants. We have a 19 mayor's matching grants to support local schools, neighborhood associations, and not-for-profits, and this grant funding is going toward enhancing our community's quality of life and out-of-school opportunities for our youth. We have representatives from many of the organizations, and I also want to thank the Mayor's Matching Grant Review Committee. So if you are here and a recipient, or your organization is a recipient of a Mayor's Matching Grant, or you're on the Review Committee, if you would stand and let us recognize you and thank you. Okay, with that, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is a number of items that are voted on through a single vote of council. We allow our commissioners each to comment on the consent agenda and important happenings from their individual districts. We rotate the order that we do that, and Commissioner Ortiz is first up today.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a note on Dr. Randolph. Although we join the family, our family, in the condolences to the family of Dr. Brazy. But our loss is a great gain to the heavens, I'm telling you, because he was a great man. So God bless him. I want to thank Congressman Soto for his report. I think it's great news to our community, and I think he will continue doing a great job up in Congress. Congratulations to all the recipients. It's nice to know that, wow, this year we have more than ever, I would say, because I think, in other occasions we have less. So that's good. The community is getting involved. That's what this is all about. So today, seldomly we get to celebrate great and special accomplishments, but today we are blessed and proud to celebrate a special one. Although we had a celebration a little while ago of somebody retiring, but this particular one goes to a good friend, is to Commissioner Stewart, for winning the Significant SIG Award of the 84th Sigma Chi Grand Chapter held in Toronto this past weekend. The award recognizes members who have achieved high levels of professional success, and fewer than 2,500 Sigma Chi's have received this honor in the history. Previous winners include such notable SIGs as country music artist Luke Bryan, from Georgia Southern class of 1999, former late night talk show host David Letterman, that's a big one there, Ball State class of 1969, and former Villanova University men's basketball coach Jay Wright from Bucknell class of 1983, who coached the university to national championships in 2016 and 2018. So my friend, we're very proud of you. Congratulations. You want to say something, or are you going to wait until okay. On Thursday, June 15, we hosted our bi-monthly District 2 Neighborhood Leaders Council, and I want to thank Mr. Alan Morrison, Solid Waste Division Manager, and Georgiana Butler from OPD, Neighborhood Watch Specialist, for joining us to discuss solid waste and OPD's Neighborhood Watch program. It's funny how sometimes we take things for granted. If you get a chance, get a presentation from Mr. Alan Morrison about what is done, what they do at Solid Waste. You'll be amazed. There's things that, as I said, we take for granted. The city does things that you will be very appreciative if you're here for this presentation. With that being said, thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
All right, Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Tony. That's very kind of you, and I appreciate it. It was an honor. I went up to Toronto this past weekend and spent time with my brother George and my son, also Sigma Chi's. And it is a humbling experience when you're standing next to some real industry leaders, and I'm honored that they would recognize me. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let me just share a couple of things. Adam, thank you for your years of service. I've never seen you ruffled, and I've always seen you professional. And I'm so honored to have had you here with the city, and looking forward to having you come back like everybody else. Anytime you want. Sometimes for a visit, sometimes as a consultant. Whenever you want to do is fine with us. Thank you, Adam. And Mayor, thank you for mentioning Dr. Bracy. We all have our memories of him. I will tell you that I had the opportunity to meet Dr. Bracy when he first joined Mount Shiloh, when he came in, and he and I worked on a special project together, and had a chance to be a friend of his during his challenges of starting this new church. And so I've always just considered him not a civil rights leader and not a wonderful activist in our community, but being my friend. I think there are thousands in our community that feel the same way. So our prayers go out to his family. So thank you for mentioning that. I want to say a special thanks to those who came to Dartmouth Park last week. We opened up our new park and the new playground in Dartmouth Park. Great comments about it. Special thanks to Rebecca and Tara and those that worked on the organization of it, especially Maria, my aide. And then also thanks to the kids from the playground, kids from the College Park Neighborhood Center came over and had a chance to just have fun on the playground. It was really neat, and I appreciate everybody that was involved in it. Thank you, Mayor, for being there and making that declaration that we're now officially open, as opposed to just using it for the last couple of weeks. A couple of upcoming events real quickly. The Independence Day Bash is up in Baldwin Park on, you want to take that? You would do the same thing to me. As on July 3rd, and then of course the mayor will share more about July 4th at the fountain. Also want to announce for those who want to get ready for it, on August 1st, we're having our safety splash in College Park. It's a chance to talk about public safety as kids go back to school and as our neighborhood. So please come over and get a chance to enjoy that. I appreciate that. On the agenda today, let me say congratulations to all those involved in the Mayor's Matching Grant. I love this program, Mayor, and I hope it never goes away. A chance for us to be engaged in the community at a much lower grassroots level. Thank you for everything that you do. I'm very grateful for that. And then also today, which I also get a chance to talk about like all the time, is that our city is run in large part, not by staff and not by mayor, but by volunteers who are committed to the city. We do that through our boards. And I want to tell you, I appreciate that. I'll mention 3 that are from my district who are volunteering that we're approving today. Phil Brown and Rick Badalci and Tony Drury. Those 3 are very important because they represent, like all the rest that we will approve today, our boards are part of us. Cities, we get to be cities. And so this is a chance for the cities to be engaged in the work of our citizenry, and I'm so grateful for that. So thank you for that. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to Commissioner Sheehan.
Well, thank you, Mayor Dyer, and I also would like to thank Adam for his service and just want to point out that he started out dealing with traffic complaints, and if you can deal with that in this city, you can deal with anything. So thank you, Adam, because people get upset about that, and you always kept your cool, and you always did a good job, so thank you so much. I will miss Reverend Bracy very much. Many years ago when I first started running for office, let's just say a member of the LGBTQ community was not always that accepted in places of worship. But he always made me feel welcome. He always had a big hug. And I always used to call him Voice of God. So to me, Reverend Bracy will always be the voice of God because he had that wonderful baritone. So rest in power, my friend. You will be missed by this community. Have some really good news. The 11th Circuit granted an injunction stopping enforcement of the adult entertainment ordinance targeting drag performances. Very happy about that. And I also want to thank the Orlando Police Department for releasing a statement saying they will not be enforcing this ridiculous law. So thank you very much. The ruling was very clear that this is a violation of the First Amendment Hamburger Mary's of Orlando, and their attorneys did a great job, and it was a victory for performance art. This affected so many, this affected theater, this affected our Fringe Festival, this affected even performances of Peter Pan, for goodness sake. And it was a ridiculous law. It's not over yet. There's still some things that have to happen, but I feel very strongly about the fact that it was a First Amendment victory, that this, and that what an injunction was given, that we will be successful, and drag is not a crime. If you don't like a performance or you don't like a book, don't go or don't read it. We have Nazis protesting in front of gay establishments. This is un-American, and we need to stand up for our American values and work together, and I'm delighted to see that this was stricken down because it was the right thing to do. Thank you. I want to thank everybody who got a mayor's matching grant, Bel Air, Elevation Scholars, Plug for Connection and Sanctuary, all in my district, as well as everybody who does, things that benefit the city as a whole. And also, I want to recognize staff for working on something that's a little bit weird and a little different, but the parking agreement for Timucua White House to use our parking lot over at the Wadeview Center. This is a great cultural venue. There are people who come from all over the world and play basically in Benoit Glazer's living room. So if you have not been to the Timucua White House, I would encourage you to check out a performance. It is a treasure in our community, and it's a little different because he just opens up his house to performances. We help him out by having this parking lot open to him, but it is really an amazing experience. It doesn't cost much money, and you can see performance art from all over the world, so it's just an amazing thing. And thank you, staff, for helping him out with his parking challenges. And that's all I had, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll move on to Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, all. I agree with council and all the wonderful things that have been said about Dr. Bracy, especially being the voice of God. Once you hear him speak, he would move mountains just by his speech alone. But he was a mountain mover. And what I love about Dr. Bracy was that we might hear about him for civil rights, but he was for people's rights. And his work will continue. So we mourn, but I also am happy because he came. And what we see here today is an example of the work that Dr. Bracy started, and it's called giving service. So I thank each and every one of you all that's in the audience that's receiving the Mayor's Matching Grant. Thank you, Mayor, for your leadership and continuing to put those funds out there, because we can't do this work. It's not done in a silo. It's done by the willing. So thank you for willing to do the work, to stand with the city, to move our district forward. I mean, not just District 5, but the city forward. But this isn't, the movements that you all have is huge, but the funding is few. So we know that the sweat equity and the compassion and love that is involved is true. And I just want to especially thank the Links of Orlando and Dr. Barte and her group for the work that you've done, especially in District 5, because you saved so many lives during COVID. You came to our community where there was disparities, where there wasn't a voice, where there was no vaccines at a certain time, and you brought funding. You brought your presence. I mean, what many of folks might not know on this dais is that the Links throughout the nation, but especially here in Orlando, are some of the most powerful African-American educated women in this nation. But we have them here in Orlando. And for them to go out there on the front line when you could have sent another team, that speaks tremendously of who you all are, you know, with the resources and the influence that you have. Going over to Ivy Lane no more than a few weeks ago and giving to those youth that are so deserving, but at promise versus at risk. And give your time and your funding, and you just continue to do it over in Westlake. So I just want to say from this dais, thank you so much for your influence, for your voices, but more so for being right there when you don't have to be, and never forgetting where you come from and reaching back to help others. So I want to say that, but also thank you all in the audience for doing that exact work and not forgetting to help those that are most definitely in need. So I just like to applaud you all. And Commissioner Stewart, I never would have known you as a Sigma.
Sigma Chi, not a Sigma. Nice try.
So they have a black fraternity that's called Sigmas.
I wouldn't be embarrassed about
And
being
John
one.
Lewis was one. So I didn't know you was over there getting in good trouble, but that's good. I just kid, but congratulations for your work.
Thank you.
And Adam, thank you for your service also and your many years of, and it didn't sound like you were more than an employee, you were family. So I know you'll be back because you can't leave family. So thank you for taking care of us all. And that's all I have. Oh my God, you got it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Burns?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor. Also, I would like to acknowledge the life and legacy of Pastor Randolph Bracy. And my colleague is sharing with me the details of his service. So on Friday, June 30th, starting from 4 to 6, the public viewing will be at New Covenant Baptist Church at 2210 South Rio Grande Avenue. And the celebration of life will be Saturday, July 1st, 11 a.m. Also, no, well, that will be at First Baptist Church of Orlando, 3000 South John Young Parkway. And I just would like to say that Pastor Bracy truly had a very positive impact on my life and truly served as a role model for many. And Pastor Bracy had what Dr. King called that drum major instinct. He was a drum major for social justice, economic opportunity, and righteousness. So he will truly be missed. But I think our community and our nation is better for having experienced him. Also, on June 14th, I hosted a special installment of Conversations with Black Men to celebrate Father's Day at Grand Avenue Neighborhood Center. I'd like to thank the No Limit Counseling and Education and Route 7 of Orlando for their partnership in this event. The goal of these events is to create a space for Black men to share their experiences in a safe and controlled environment. Thank you again to all who attended, and we look forward to the next one. Also on June 16th, I was pleased to join Mayor Dyer. Thank you, Mayor Dyer, the FPR staff and Richmond Estates residents, along with children from the Dr. James R. Smith Center. They joined us for the ribbon cutting of the newly developed and revamped Prince Hall Park. It was a very exciting day to hear the children laughing in the background, but also I spoke with several seniors who actually bought their houses over there 50 years ago with a promise that a park would soon come. So that soon come was 50 years later, but they still remain excited. A couple of residents expressed that their husbands, they were happy to be able to see this day, but unfortunately several of their husbands didn't get a chance to see this day. But it was a great day filled with a lot of laughter, a lot of sharing of stories. And so this park is equipped with exercise station, the resiliency provided by the tables of connection, as well as other amenities. So thank you again for the FPR team who assisted in making this all possible, and thank you, Mayor, for your leadership in this as well. Also on June 17th, the city would have hosted the second annual Juneteenth celebration at Clear Lake Park, but due to inclement weather beyond our control, we had to cancel it. But I would like to thank and acknowledge Marcia Goodwin and her team for the hard work and planning, and also acknowledge Mr. Russell Drake for his nomination as this year's City of Orlando Juneteenth champion. Mr. Drake does a lot in the community, but also has been focusing on helping to build Black businesses with Build Black Daily. Build Black Daily. So thank you to Russell Drake and everything that he does for our community. Also on June 21st, my office hosted a hurricane preparedness workshop at the Grand Avenue Neighborhood Center. And preparing for a hurricane can be overwhelming, and so this workshop was designed to inform, educate, and answer any questions related to the preparation for this year's hurricane season. Also, we wanted to let the residents know of a lot of the pre-work that goes into preparing for hurricane season. So thank you to the City of Orlando, Orange County Government's Emergency Management Department, Congressman Maxwell Frost's office for their partnership in this event. On the agenda this morning, I'd like to say thank you to all the residents who have agreed to volunteer to serve on the various cities' citizens advisory boards. Thank you for being willing to share your time and talents with the city to improve the operations and overall services to our residents. Also, item A2, congratulations to the recipients of the Mayor's Matching Grant. Thank you for all that you all do for our communities in the various areas. I would also like to just acknowledge my friend, Mr. Ricky Weeks, for all his efforts in bringing recreation to our inner cities, especially in the area of baseball. So thank you, Mr. Weeks, for all that you do. And Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. I think, my colleagues have covered most of the things on the agenda, a couple of things that weren't on the agenda, but with that, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and so the motion carries. And so the mayor's matching grants are approved. Everyone is invited to stay for the rest of the meeting. However, if you would choose to use your time otherwise, you might want to take leave right now.
Regina, good job.
Congratulations.
I wouldn't mind being a Sigma. I'm okay with that.
You cracked me up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just totally losing right here. That was funny. I mean, hell, that was, one of the Sykes moment there, girlfriend. I was like, oh my God, that was hilarious.
I'm okay with that.
Blame it on Commissioner Ortiz. He's the one that spilled the beans.
Go Gators.
A lot of happy people. Okay, what I would like to do now, if there's no objection, is recess the city council meeting and convene the OPEB Board of Trustees meeting. So, commissioners, we have one item for us today on the Board of Trustees for the OPEB Trust Fund. The city's investment consultant has recommended minor adjustments to the asset allocation of the fund and additional investments in private equity and private debt. This recommendation was reviewed and approved by both the Investment Committee and the Finance Committee, and it is here for us to make final. So is there a motion to approve the recommended action?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Burns. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? And so the motion carries. Okay, without objection, we will adjourn the OPEB meeting and reconvene the city council meeting. That brings us to hearings, ordinances, second reading. So, Madam Clerk, if you would read the first ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 2023-20, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the city's adopted growth management plan to change the future land use map designation for approximately 1.3 acres of land generally located south of West Colonial Drive, north of Arlington Street, between North Westmoreland Drive and North Orange Blossom Trail from mixed-use corridor medium intensity to residential high intensity on the city's official future land use maps, changing the property zoning designation from medium-intensity mixed-use corridor to planned development with the traditional city and Paramore Heritage overlay districts, providing for amendment of the city's official future land use and zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Madam Clerk, do we have any cards?
No speakers, Mayor.
Okay, no participation from the public. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
Ordinance number 2023-21, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, vacating, closing, and abandoning a portion of Strobel Avenue, platted as Mary Lee Driveway, generally located west and south of 1900 North Orange Blossom Trail and east of 1725 West New Hampshire Street, as described in the Walker Industrial Subdivision plat as recorded in Plat Book S, page 137 of the Public Records of Orange County, Florida, and comprised of 0.3 acres of land more or less, providing for conditions of abandonment, providing for execution of affecting documents, severability, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Madam Clerk.
No speakers, Mayor.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 3.
Ordinance number 2023-22, an ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the land development regulations for a portion of the International Drive Resort Plan Development Zoning District, which is generally located north of Vanguard Street, south of Oak Ridge Road, east of International Drive, and west of the Florida Turnpike, and comprised of approximately 68 acres, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Hill. Madam Clerk.
No speakers, Mayor.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Madam Clerk, do I understand we have no general appearances requested?
No, Mayor. No speakers.
Okay, then we will stand adjourned.